It's time for Dads Without Dads, a community of men who are determined to become the dads we never had.
Bwembya matuus wibanga amafuus wekwata obukopo mu bongo Bwembya iyo bongo bongo.
It's gonna be a very, 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 very good day. A good day.
Our guest today is a good friend of mine. His name is Bwembya, but you can just call him Just Slim. Yeah, man, that's all I'll say for now. And we'll find out more when we get into the nitty-gritties of our conversation. Just Slim.
Yo.
Welcome, man.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I haven't seen you in a very long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, linking up.
How have you
Good.
been?
I've been great. Like a lot has happened since the last time, but I've been good. Ups and downs, like life always is.
Right.
But the ups outweigh the downs. So all has been good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, grateful to God for keeping us safe, keeping us through all the things that get to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been good as well. It's been busy, but but worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you've been very busy. We see sometimes we don't talk, but you look through Facebook. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. You're like, hey, okay. What time is this one sleeping? Because
Yeah, man.
there's a lot happening. But yeah, that's a good thing. I'm super happy and proud of you to say, because yes, there's so much work that you're doing, and especially with Zam, like what you've achieved in this time. For me, that has been remarkable. It's
Wow.
something that I've looked at from a distance, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we've had Zam. I've been a member, stopped paying my subscription. Now I'm like, yeah, you need to go back.
You have a reason again.
Now I have a reason again to like, okay, yeah, it's worth it. So the works that you're doing really are showing, like, good work that you're doing, really.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. You are one of the most inspirational people I know, one of the most resilient people I know, and definitely one of the strongest people I know. And I think people will understand at a later stage as we get to have our conversation.
Yeah.
But I want us to just maybe take it back to your music journey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I know there are people who are seeing you probably for the first
For the
time.
first
Like,
time,
who's
yeah.
this guy? What music has he done and whatever.
Yeah.
But maybe just give us just a background of how you got into the music thing and what some of the things you remember doing right from the get-go, yeah.
Wow. The music journey. So, of course, there's like earlier, and I'll get to that like when we get to... But then it makes sense even for me right now. So this is like the time I'm at school. And I have to like give a shout out to a friend of mine called Aaron. So we had a computer lab. I had interest in music. I used to sing at church and all of that. So that computer lab gave access to computers. And this guy introduces me to Fruity Loops. And I think at the time, this is like Fruity Loops 3.
Wow.
And it's a cracked version and all of that. Like, you can't save. Whatever you make, you have to export. And that's it. You make a mistake and you can't. But yeah, it starts off there. That's where the interest, like, yes, I could sing at school in the choir. We would sing per assembly and that type of thing. But I wanted to make the music. I wanted to produce. And this guy just opened my mind. And yeah, left school. 2006, I remember I had gone to visit like my sister in Eastern Province. Then I came back only to find that my brother had bought a computer, Pentium 3. Those days, that was the thing. Got to meet up with my friend, got software, put that on the computer, and that is how my production journey started. So he had laid the foundation, like he taught me one or two things, and I had recorded a few things with him. But yeah, now was my time to step into the shoes. Like, I want to produce music.
Yeah.
So in my journey, like, I met so many people, like so many people that I've met it. So one of the very first people that I ever met through my older brother, through our home studio, like our bedroom studio, was Ossie. Ossie was one of and he was a producer as well. We had a studio somewhere where he was working on all of that. Got to interact with him, learned one or two things from him. And yeah, he moved on, was pushing. We kept pushing at home as well. And then this is a time when, if I remember properly, like Slap is happening. Then there was that Kama Silence. Then there is XYZ starting out. So there's that song where he shouted like his number. I've forgotten the song, but there's a song where he had said his number. So one of these things where you're doing one of these jobs where you're not fully feeling fulfilled. I'm like, but it would be nice.
099,
Yes, that. So you know what? I dial that number.
Is
And
it
for
Solola?
sure? I should think so. I've forgotten the song. Yeah, maybe.
But it was a Digital X song. Yeah.
Yes. So I call him. No, I'm such and such, and no resistance, no whatever. I got invited. I even asked for a day. Like, I'm asking tomorrow. I've got this happening. I left work, went to the studio. At the time, I think it was in Woodlands. So I get there. We have a conversation. I play him some of the beats that I'd been making with the guys I had worked with. Oh, and the other person I forgot to mention. So one of the big people that, made it later on that I met earlier, Ossie. Then there was also Johnny C. Johnny C was like a guy from the hood that we grew up with. And a number of other guys. But yeah. So he gives me the opportunity to say, okay, fine. You can come through. We can start working. These are the conditions. And that is how I went to that job and said, guys, I can't continue. And that's how I became part of XYZ. So while there, I met a number of faces. I remember meeting Makitu for the first time there.
Yeah.
I remember meeting Dreams there. And then I was just there. Like he embraced me like a young brother,
This
you know?
is Slap D's Woodlands days.
Yes.
Okay. So this is around the time when Makitu just passed through as a videographer.
Yes.
Wasn't really in the music
Before,
thing.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That is the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just there. And guys like Lloydie, Kabovelo came through. And then I remember Bobby East, J.O.B., they came through. That's where I met them before all of this. So all of this is happening. And that is where my journey really started. And one of my biggest moments being there was actually being part of engineering the session where JK recorded the vocals for God Digger. And I did the dummy beat that they recorded on and all of that, and later sent to Taz to go and finish up and all of that. But yeah.
Nice. Oh, so you started it?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is one of the
So it wasn't
big
really
moments.
recorded at Goemi Records?
No.
Oh,
It
okay.
was recorded at XYZ.
Oh.
I was recording engineer for their vocals, for everything. Yes.
Okay.
Because I remember we had even put up a mattress and all of that, trying to, contain the echo and all of that. And it was my first time meeting JK. You know how you're busy praising him, but you're like,
But again,
this
you're
is JK
starstruck.
actually who's, yes. And then it was just one take. He does lead vocal.
Yeah.
Vika again, backing. I'm like, how is he getting everything right?
Yeah.
Like everything, then it just sits. Oh, then the bridge, no, you can do this. I added conversations. And that's how that session was done.
Nice,
So
man.
now, because I'm young at this point, and I guess I felt overwhelmed with all of this happening. And that is where sort of like my music journey, I was like, I left. Like any person would be like, but why would you? But yeah, I felt overwhelmed and I had to leave.
Yeah.
I had personal reasons, but I know like if I had stayed, it's that thing where sometimes I said, but what if I had stayed? What would have happened? Where would I be right now?
Yeah.
How big would I? But then I'm like, that is gone. So we move forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to meet later on, worked on some documentary that Slap was in. So even me leaving the split, it wasn't like there was bad blood. No. I was still like his young brother of some sort.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is how I left. Then I started my own studio at the time. Went back to, after a little pause, I was like, okay, let me produce for myself. Let me do the stuff. Yeah. So I remember I was very active. This is the time that Tishon is starting out. And I remember meeting Tishon. He was brought to the studio by, I think, Juvik. I remember recording some song where J Cash came in my car, one bedroom, like I had those moments. I had this, they were pushing and I was there pushing and I'm recording and doing all of that. Yeah. Those are some of the moments. And then, fast forward to a point where my equipment was stolen. And that is where I hit like a depression. Boom. I spent 2 years. I didn't record nothing. I didn't do any music. I was resurfacing in 2015 when I recorded another song. And by this time, I had lost like the passion, the interest to produce. Like from scratch, the way I used to do, I lost that. And I just felt, let me find somebody. And somebody introduced me to Shomsi at the time. And then, yes, I got to work with Shomsi on a song. And then that is when we linked up.
Then you introduced me to Shomsi.
To Shom, yes.
Yeah.
So this is the period now. I had just come back, recorded that song, released, and then that's when we now get to meet. And then we get that opportunity to get to the stand. Then we go to Shom, we record that song that we did together.
Yeah. Then it took us to South Africa.
Yes.
And
then it took us to performing in that was like my first stadium show, 12,000 people.
Imagine. That
so,
was crazy, man.
And I'm like, okay, yeah.
That was 2015, right?
Yes, that was 2015. Then I think that's when we did the song.
That's when we did the song, but 2016
was
is when we
the
did
performance, the stadium.
During the World AIDS Conference, it was hosted in Africa.
Yes.
After many years, since 2000, then South Africa hosted it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Hey. And talking about South Africa, I don't know what's going on there right now, man. I don't know. It's not as great as it was the time we went there, like where you're. But remember, even when we went there,
yes,
we had to be very strategic about where we were going.
Yes,
and there was a whole discussion that you can't just be anywhere else. We had to be in a certain place. We had to be in Durban.
Yes.
Yeah.
They emphasized on even when you make sure you do this, make sure you're like,
right.
oh, okay, yeah. Remember, like it would be a hassle even just to walk from where we were lodged, like those apartments, to just go there. You'd see people looking at you strange, but at least it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because I remember how we would take a walk to go to the mall.
It was quite strange for a lot of like our fellow black people when they would find us at those eating places.
Yes.
Because we also didn't know where we were. Like we didn't know that we were in this upmarket place where our fellow black people like would work in that area, but somehow they would be like, what are you guys doing
here? Yes.
Like, how did you find yourselves here?
And then for us, it was like a normal thing. I remember being seated there. You're uncomfortable now because people are looking
like
at you.
Why is everyone looking
yes.
strange? Like, is it that I'm not expected to be here?
Yeah,
but apparently it was an area mostly for white people.
For white people, yeah.
Yeah, so it was safer for us.
Yes.
Yeah, for us being foreigners in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever is happening there, we can only pray for healing, and we pray that God gives them direction, and God gives Africa direction on how to deal with this, because it affects all of us.
Yeah, it actually does.
Yeah,
and
man.
To reach to an extent where South Africans artist shows are getting cancelled now in other, I'm like, this is it's going to affect. Yes, it's affecting people but then even them now, until they realize to say, okay, we need each other, and I hope we can get to that where they see the bigger picture to say.
Very true. Because if you don't want others in your country, others won't want you in their countries,
yes.
And now that creates a problem, because at the end of the day, we always say, these borders were just created by our colonizers, but initially we are one people. But anyway, I guess that's a topic for another day. True. One of the biggest highlights of your career was Brothers for Life.
Oh, yeah.
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 What do you remember about that? Like, what was your highlight, like, in that phase of your life?
So Brothers for Life comes after the documentary I said I did, where Slap was also involved. And the fact that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was like the inaugural ambassador and we were like the inaugural alongside him, that was like a moment.
That was big.
That
was with UNICEF.
Yes,
yeah.
That was with UNICEF. And that was like a big thing. Like I had never imagined, where you didn't think of yourself to be on the same table like with these people.
Yeah. So it was you,
there was
Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Dr. Chibamba Kanyama. Then there was
Jason Kabanana?
yes, PS.
PS Kangwachilishe?
Yes. Then there was Cactus Agony. Then there was Tio Nason.
Yeah.
Then there was Paul Mnanjala, aka Paul the Prince. Then who else have I left out?
Was Pompey there?
No. Pompey wasn't.
Pompey was something.
And then there were other people. So like the inaugural ambassadors is who I've mentioned.
Yeah.
Like
so there were 6 or 5.
There was me. There was Tio. There was
Dr. KK.
Dr. KK. Then there was Chibamba Kanyama. Then there was Kango Chileshe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, then there's Cactus. Then Mr. Rosius Siatwamba also was later on added. And then there's a gentleman whose name I've forgotten. Okay. But yeah, just to have your name in line with that. And also just the agenda that we were pushing because, you know, the root cause of HIV really... much of the people that have gotten infected, obviously, we know there are several ways, but we can't sideline the sexual part. And then men are initiators of sex in most cases. So meaning they are the key to all of this. Like if it's to stop spreading, if men were to say, okay, we are behaving ourselves, we're going to use condoms, and that was a good message that needed to reach men. And also just, you know, health-seeking behaviors. For us men, uzao ukawambira kamutu and all of that, so uzaganza hapo vako hospital. For a woman, any small, and then men, it can be something serious. Vizava. For a man, just to wake up at and go hospital. So that is also another thing that we were encouraging to say it's doing those things that will save us and help us curb the spread of HIV and also condomizing and also the issue of gender-based violence. So that is what Brothers for Life was about. And I guess the biggest highlight, apart from just being mentioned in the same with
Breath
those
with
big names,
KK,
yes, is when we got to do like the theme song for Brothers for Life. So there's a same song for the campaign that we did. So it was me, Tio, Cactus Agony, and Porter Prince, and it was produced by Mag 44. So I had met Mag 44 when I was at XYZ initially, but we had never worked together. And just to be on a Mag 44 beat and all of that, like for me, I treasure those moments because I know at the level of people maybe knowing Mag 44 up after a certain point, but for me to have been there when that was, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I've actually experienced it in this. So that's one of the big highlights for me, like having done that. Yeah.
Big up, man. We take our first break.
Yabonfya amatuuls webanga amafuus wekwata obukopo mu bongo ibonfye iyo bongo bongo yabonfya.
This episode of Dads Without Dads is brought to you by the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. And our guest today is Just Slim. Slim.
Yebo.
So let's talk about you. What do you remember about your childhood?
So let's start it at a point where I am 4, about to turn 5. So I have like a fuzzy memory of who my father was. So it's at this point. So this is one of like the most vivid days that I have in memory of my dad. I knew he was sick. So I remember him being given, and I don't know what that remedy was, but he was being given like a strong Zigolo. And also lots of sugarcane, and that's what he needed for whatever condition he had. I think it was jaundice or whatever, but yeah. So I remember this day where he got out of bed, and then this is like a day where he's felt better. Because he was always, what I remember is him always sleeping, always in the bedroom. So now I remember this man, he took a walk, went outside the house, sat in the sun for some time. He was like, I think they remember Buino. And later that day, he goes into the house, and that's the last I saw of him. The next thing I remember is chairs coming out. But then I'm a 4-year-old, and then people are crying, and then you're like, but what's going on? And yeah, so it starts from there. That's like the recollection I have of this man. And then after that, we remained with my mom and my siblings. And by the way, I'm the last born of the family. So I was the youngest like the time dad was passing away. So what do I remember after that? I remember hardship, like lots of hardship, but then I'm young. It's life. It's only growing up late then you're like, oh, okay, but for those things to happen, where you don't have what to eat. I remember my immediate older brother and older sister, muchokera ku school. I was at Thornpark. Muchokera ku school where you still maize, like it's rainy season. You still maize mumunda mawant so that you have something to eat when you get home. Where days you've just bought beans, madiache beans yeka. But this is a time when mom had not fully recovered from losing her person, got into a depression, got sick, business wasn't going okay, and all of that. This is the time that this is happening. Then I remember her becoming better, hustling, doing what, and we were taken care of. Then I just remember getting sick a lot. I used to get sick a lot. And I used to look tiny, like a very tiny person. Like, it's when I look back at some of my photos, I'm like, oh, okay, this is how I used to look. I was embedded and so but yeah, like I wasn't as healthy. So yeah. Despite all of that, like all the hardships and all of that, because this is the life I'm experiencing. I'm thinking this is how life is. So it's not really, yes, there are things you don't like there, but you're like, this is how life is. This is how you get to, until things started getting better. And in those things getting better, it leads me to falling sick on off.
Were you going to school at this point?
Yes. So mom was very strict about school. There has to be a reason. If it was all over school, it needs to be a proper reason. Mm-hmm. She made sure you had to go to school. So I'm going to school. I get sick. This is in grade 10. Like seriously sick, where, you seek medical attention and all of that. And they say, these symptoms, this is pneumonia, I'm put on treatment. Okay. I get better, get sick again within a month or so. And then we are told to say, you go to a government clinic. We go to a government, these symptoms, this is TB. You're like, oh, okay.
From pneumonia, it moves, it's TB.
Yeah, then they say, this is TB. They did the tests, it wasn't positive, but they said, no, all the symptoms, they tick the boxes, TB treatment. So I get on TB treatment, I get better, I'm going to school. But it's hard because, you are on this medication, you are going through what you're going through. Then following year, after I'd finished my medication, I got better. Following year, the TB relapsed, I got sick again.
11th grade?
Yes. So now, back on treatment. This time when they did the test, yes, it was positive to say, yes, he's got TB. Again, back on treatment. So now, this is like one of the hard periods because my mother is sick, yes. Like she had so many ailments that she was battling. Cervical cancer to be one of them. And she had arthritis, So she had arthritis from
way back.
years from when I was really young. So I remember her going through all of that, then put the cancer there and all of those things. And then this one day, she used to go and hustle in town. Yaku City Market, and it's for one reason, till today, I don't like City Market. But she got hit by a bus.
Oh.
Yes.
Benzogulisa vovala?
She would... that woman would do anything.
Oh, okay.
So
she was a hustler, basically.
She was a hustler, yes.
Yeah.
For as long as she puts food on the table.
Right.
So there was no specific things like this is at a point when she's doing whatever is necessary.
She would try out different businesses, whatever she can sell at this time.
That is what she was doing. Yeah. So she gets hit by a bus and then, luckily, what's happening? Until, am I one kunwa bunki wa this and the other? And she had to start using crutches, had the chuma cast on her foot, and all of that. So things start going, but their health is already bad as well, and all of that. And then this is a time that now I had just, because of the second time of being on TB, the advice was, well, he needs to test for HIV. There's no way. And I remember now the one time that she sat me down, say, oh, listen, my son, I am HIV positive. I've known for some time, but yeah, it's the reason why we have to go do this test. So, okay. This is 15-year-old me. You have so many questions because you've learned to school. It's HIV is transmitted like this.
Yeah.
Of course, it wasn't like at school. It wasn't really much about mother to child. So you're just thinking, say, but pano, how? So I still went ahead. I didn't want, but she convinced me to say it's important for me and all of that. Went and did the test, and went through counseling, and results come out positive. I'm like, oh, okay. You know where you don't know how to react. You're in shock. You're like, But then in that moment, yes, life shifted. Like life changed for me. Like perspective changes from that moment. And then what hit hard the most is, yes, I'm found HIV positive. Yes, I'm put on treatment. And 2 months later, this woman passes away.
Oh, no.
Okay. So you're like,
You're just a teenager.
yeah, I'm 15. So I'm like, okay. You are living through life now. You are processing, but you have to keep going. You don't stop. So even when I was going in my final grade to grade 12, it was wild, where you are still dealing, I had not, even till today, like there are certain things that I haven't fully processed. But you know how grief is. There are moments when you're okay, there are moments when you're, but with time I've learned to know how to handle that, know how to deal with that. But yeah, at the time it wasn't easy because I'm dealing with an HIV positive diagnosis. I'm dealing with having lost my mother. So those were like the two things that shifted. And I became less interested in school, I think, at the time. And all the while, I used to be this, not that I stopped being, I was this brainy kid that would compete, that would get good marks and all of that. And I have to give props to my mother for that, because my mother was the kind that would sit down with me. You know where she gets a textbook? She'll, even just your notes, she'll read through, make questions for you, say after you should answer these questions. That is how I grew up. Like my mother would do that. Like for me, when I was writing my grade 7, she was there to help me study. When I was writing my grade 9, she was there to study. So like grade 12 was different, because that person that always was in my corner to help me study, to ensure that, I keep up with my grades, I was not there anymore.
Not there anymore.
Yeah, so it was a huge adjustment. But yeah, that happened, and that was like much of my growing up. And I was like a mommy's boy, like even at the time she died, it's only at the end, like when she got really sick, I was still sleeping on the same bed with my mother, and it was normal for me, and I was my mother's baby, and that was okay. But yeah, like adjusting to all of that, and then. So, and I'm sure obviously people now will be like, so you're in grade 10 with us, can't you still sleep on the same bed with?
I know, right?
But yeah, I was a baby like that. So yeah, like life changed after that, and I had to grow up, and I had to start accepting certain things and looking at things differently from that point. But yeah, basically that was my mom. And I think what she was trying to do in helping me study was also compensating. I'll tell you, like, school-wise, in my growing up, so I had to stop school. Like after Dad died, I couldn't go to school for a bit. I was at South End, that kind of school, where Comesa building is.
Yes, South End. Yes, I
yes,
remember
that
school.
was where my preschool and all of that was done. But then after that, Dad passing away and couldn't continue, and then I had stayed for some time at home. That's when I was taken to say, let him go Pathon Park grade 1. And I was accepted. But then at home, my sister would teach me how to read, we would do math. And so it so happens that in my grade 1, term 1, we write a test, and then I would give myself to my exercises to Mashani from what my sister taught me, and I would. So one of the teachers looked at it. I'm like, but this kid, with
Too
what they're learning
advanced.
with what they're learning at grade 1, that's how I was put in grade 2 at term 2. So grade
Oh.
1, I only learned term 1.
And then you get to
Switch to
grade,
grade
2,
two.
and it's already term 2. You're
Yes.
almost at the end of grade 2 again.
Yes, we do that, and then grade 6, my mom says you attempt. And if you remember back then, it was very common. They're attempting.
Yes.
These days, it's only when at least
Yeah.
they still attempt.
So meaning
but
that if you pass while you're in grade 6, you attempt the grade 7 exams, then
you go to grade,
skip grade
and
7
which is
and go to
what
grade 8.
happened. So I was in grade 6 doing extra lessons. Like after I learned in the morning, in the afternoon, you're doing extra lessons for grade 7. And I got marks that were okay. Not like I really passed, but they were okay. And my mother was like, I know it's fine. Just continue. Don't... So I don't know. She had her reasons for that. So I go to grade 8. This is when now things normalize. But then I'm this tiny kid. I am... Because I completed at 16. So in grade 8, I'm what? I am 11? 11, 12. So this is a grade 8 at 11, 12, somewhere there. That is not...
Yeah.
That is
sure,
not...
yeah.
Yes. So like, because of that experience, I'll tell you, like, to this day, school kind of gives me that anxiety, yes. Books, exams, studying, like, it gives me anxiety. And the reason that she was there, and I guess she saw that, but it's like I was pushed to go too fast. But yeah, till today, like, structured learning, the exam, I still get mad anxiety because of that.
Exam fever.
Yes, everybody gets that, but for me, it's like way beyond, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's way too much. Where to a
Serious
point
trauma.
you can easily have diarrhea in the moment that you're not really like. But yeah, so that's like the downside too. Like, yeah, it's nice to celebrate. Like, hey, my son is sharp. He's progressed, and I'll tell you, like, at grade 9, I came out second the whole school.
Oh, wow.
And then at grade 12, people were expecting, these are my ones. I was one of the my tiny ones. These are my ones that get my 6 points, my shan. I did okay, but because life was happening. And when I go back to that, and I'm like, I think I could have done better if things were not as they were. But it's one of the things that I go like, yeah, it happened, and everything happens for a reason. That is what I've left, because so many things shifted, and just accepting.
So grade 9, your performance was really great,
Yeah.
and you were the second highest in school.
Yeah.
And then 12th grade, you were still dealing with those emotions. Loss of mom had happened already?
Yes.
You had lost mom already.
Lost mom in grade 11, actually, and
You were processing
my diagnosis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So those were the two big shifts. And I look back and I'm like,
Yeah.
those are the main things that changed. I still didn't do very bad. I did okay.
Yeah, but still, you could have done
And yes,
better
in my head,
because
I'm like, I think I could have-
your abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, those processes of going through that mad anxiety, and I'm like, school.
Yeah. So then who was taking care of you in that moment from the time that mom passed?
So I remained at where we used to live with my brother and sister. And then one of my aunts had to say, well, let me get this off my brother and sister. So I went to live with my uncle and auntie in Nipa. And then, we were writing mock exams in grade 12. This is mid-year, somewhere there. That is when we lost my uncle, the one that took me in. And I had to go back to my brothers. So, yeah. So, I experienced two people that were close that had died leading up to my final examination. So, yeah. My aunt and uncle took care of me up until a point where my uncle died. And then my brother and sister were like, okay, you can come back, because, again, that is pressure for those people outside. And that is how I went and started living with my brother. So at this point, my sister lives alone, my brother lives alone. So I went and joined my brother. And then this is when, we wrote our exams. That is done. I go to Eastern Province with my sister. And then I come back. That is when I find the computer that my brother had bought, knowing that, this guy, yes. And then that is how my production
journey
starts.
started. Okay.
Yeah.
Great stuff, man. We take another break.
Yabonfya amatuls webanga amafools wekwata obukopo mu bongo ibonfye iyo bongo bongo yabonfya.
Welcome back. We were just laughing in the background because Just Slim had to take some water. So we're saying there are those people that are very particular about what they're seeing on set. And so when you come back from a break, they'll probably say, that water was quite full. And then what has just happened? What time did they drink the water?
Now let's give them the
So we're
evidence.
remembering that we need to be drinking water, you know? Yeah, so in my preamble, at some point, I said, you're one of the strongest people I know. And this is exactly what I meant.
Yeah.
So what kept you going?
Resilience. I think I learned that from my mother with seeing everything. Because yes, I'm very young at the time that my father dies. And then looking at the hardships that we went through with my mother, her raising all of us, for me, it was a clear indication that there's no point in giving up. Like, no matter how bad things may seem, there's always God always has a plan. And yeah, my mom was a very prayerful woman and all of that. So seeing her pray, taking us to church, and also just understanding, say, okay, if I wake up, I'm still alive, I'm still here. It means that there's a plan for me. And just seeing her go through everything that we went through and her not giving up. For me, that was an example. That was a reason for me to keep pushing, through all of these things that I'm saying I went through. Because we went through some really tough times. But then, that is what built the man I am today. Mm-hmm. That is where the resilience comes from. So it comes from seeing my mom handling all of these things. And let me add that she died really young, which is one of the things there. Because now that I'm at the age I'm at, and I look at the age that my mother died, I'm like, so all this time we were going through these things that we were going through, this woman was at this age. So my mother had me when she was 32. So meaning at the time my father is dying, she is somewhere around 36, 37. Then to push up to 47, so 10 years later. But what happened in this? So she died when she was 47. And when I look at it now, because I'm 37 now, but I look at it and I'm like, that 47 is not old. It's pretty young.
Right.
And to see what this woman endured between that 37 to 47 is a lot. And that is where I get my resilience from. Mm. Yeah.
Amazing stuff, man. I feel like one of the most difficult things to do for many people out there is to go public about their HIV status.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing I remember, it's on record that the first Zambian to ever go public about their HIV status way back was someone called Winston Moyo.
Yes.
Must have been maybe in 1990 or somewhere there, because obviously the HIV pandemic came on the scene around in the mid-80s.
Yeah.
And at that time, people didn't really know what was going on. And there was a lot of superstition. People were thinking it's witchcraft and whatnot. And then in the early 90s, somewhere there, then that's when we had this Winston Moyo go public. And there was a lot of push for messaging around prevention and whatnot, but still the issue of treatment was a problem.
Yeah.
Not many people were on treatment, so people were still just dying. That affected the music industry as well. A lot of the artists from way back would find themselves maybe HIV positive, but they are not on any treatment, so people would just die. The same superstition again. Yeah. People would say, oh, Bamuloa, or this and that and this and that. Yeah, but then we hear of stories of other people like Princess Kasune Zulu.
Yes.
Princess Kasune is also one of the people that came out later for her. I think it was 1997.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But then for you, even at your age, I think you were really, really young. Yeah. What gave you the courage to be public about your HIV status, to a point where even today you are able to sit on a podcast like this and still mention and even just give us that background?
Freedom. So this period that I found out, there's what we call self-stigma. I didn't feel worthy of being around people. I felt like I was done, So living through life was, you're like, hey, I've woken up, okay, let me go do what needs to be done. Yeah, okay. But I had stopped paying attention and I just felt like I wasn't worthy of being loved. What is going to happen with me later on in life? Will I ever have kids? And this is at a time when treatment is not as it is now. Because right now there's even prevention for people that are HIV negative. There's ARVs that have been on for 22 years now. It's going to be 22 years in somewhere in November, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. So let's say 21 years. So it wasn't as that. So I went through a period of feeling bad, feeling pity for myself, looking down on myself. And I was living through life. I had friends, we would hang out. I had not started opening up. Like only my family knew at the time. But me excluding myself, me feeling some type of way around people, even those that don't know my status, like it didn't feel so good. So fast forward, because I'm pursuing music. In my head, I am going to do music. So I'm like, what happens if I am this person that is performing somewhere and maybe one of the people in the crowd is somebody I met at the clinic? That is how a rumor can easily spread and be like, hey, and it won't be a rumor, it will be the truth. But so freedom was, if you get in front of something, like if you talk about something yourself, somebody can't use it against you. That was
Powerful.
one.
That's powerful.
Two, it was a stage where if I was going to come out, I was going to do a documentary. I was going to showcase who I truly am, like all the struggles I've been through, but me pushing my music and wanting to be that person, like regardless of this doesn't change who I am. I'm still the same person that had those dreams and I can still pursue those dreams. So it was like 2 birds, 1 stone. I get to have my freedom and it wasn't, and I'll tell you, like it was a selfish decision because it was for myself. But in the process, yes, people told me before this will help a lot of people. And I'm like, okay, cool. If it's going to, even better. That's now 3 beds. But for me, it's not my concern about what other people will they be encouraged with. No, I'm looking at my own freedom because I want to pursue music. And if
you don't want any distractions on the way. Yeah.
Where somebody can use it against me, like, So number 1 is that. And this will help me to get out there to say, okay, there's this person and he's like this and he does this. And very confident in my skill. Like, yeah, I can sing and I can be this guy. I've worked with these people. There were no my credentials like Unachita Shan. I got accepted. For me, that was like a confirmation. And you see, I had already met some of these people, worked with some of these people, been around these people. So for me, it was vivid. Like, this is something I can achieve. This is something I can do.
Yeah.
So that is what leads me to saying, oh, okay, let me come out in the open and live my life like that.
I like what you said about going to maybe a health facility where you receive medication and there are people that see you there, then maybe one day they use it against you. And why I like it is because it then brings us to the conversation around being a public figure.
Yeah.
That a lot of public figures die inside, even when they're going through certain things, whether it's maybe being HIV positive, or it could be being HIV positive but not living positively.
Positively, yeah.
Because maybe there are certain hindrances, there are certain barriers that are preventing them from living positively. For example, accessing medication, because they're thinking, if I go to a health facility, I will meet my fans, I will meet people who may know me. So that makes it very difficult. And at the same time, this also brings us to issues of mental health as well.
Yeah.
Lots of public figures, celebrities are suffering inside and they can't really come out even about some of the issues that they're going through mentally because someone out there will judge them because they're expected to be perfect people.
Yeah.
And I hope that even through your story and just the reason that you gave for having gone public about your HIV positive status, I hope that encourages someone to say it's possible to live a long life and a healthy life even after, finding out that you're HIV positive. And that's how you got here, where to this day you're this strong guy, you're healthy, and indeed, what they used to tell us that you can't tell by looking, that's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Because probably when we just started here, someone just said, who's this handsome guy that they're hosting today? But nobody would have said, is he positive? Is he negative? Is he what? Yeah. Educate us a bit. Tell us about, I hear words like CD4 count, viral load, opportunistic infections, and all these words. Can you just educate us a bit? And there's what they call U equals U.
Okay, so I think the most important I'll talk about is U equals U, because I recently found myself in a situation where somebody close didn't know that they could be with somebody who's positive, like in this day and age. So U equals U is when you are undetectable, you are untransmittable. And with the ARVs now, when you get on them, yes, the viral load is like the amount of, it measures like the number of copies of viruses that are in your body. So basically, when you reach an undetectable level, the ARVs will suppress the copies to a point where they cannot be. Yes, you're still positive. It doesn't mean that you are cured, no. But it just means that the copies will not show and you cannot transmit to another person. So that is the U equals U. So, and then with the other terms, I'll let people do some research. But the most important one is couples these days can be, one is negative, one is positive. And it is very possible to even have kids that are HIV negative and live healthy.
Yeah.
And then obviously what I would probably add is
those are
been
known
talking
as
about
discordant couples.
Yes. There's PrEP as well now.
Pre-exposure prophylaxis.
Yes. So that is like the prevention. And then this is the injection that, because I even heard like these people that are positive, they're thinking that there's this, is it 6 months to 1 year injection but it's for prevention. It's like PrEP. It is PrEP anyway. So it's for people that are HIV negative. When they are on that injection, when they take that injection, they are covered for like 6 months. It will protect them from getting infected. So in situations where two people are in a relationship, one is negative, there's even that option. So the person that is negative can have that one jab twice in a year. The person that is positive takes their medication as they do on a daily basis. And if they're undetectable, definitely you can have a family and you can go on about your lives and live long and healthy.
Okay.
So I think that is the biggest thing that most people worry about. What happens to me now that I'm positive? Can I still? And I'm like, here I am still standing. I was 15 when I knew.
Yeah.
And technically it's most likely that I was born with it. I got it either through breastfeeding or whatever period. And evidence is there with the way that I grew up, sick every now and then. And I'll tell you, like, from the time I started treatment, in this 21 years, I don't think there's a time that I've really been sick to a point of, like my health just picked up and I became okay. Wow. Yes, it's the usual, there's a flu, there's a cough, there's this. But none of the serious threatening things yet. And that is what, that's the good part about being on medication.
Yeah.
And it's also about when you do it, because people will find out and they'll be scared to say, Manje, I used to think, so I have to take these every day for the rest of my life. Yeah. But here I am, 21 years and counting.
Wow.
So it seems like too far-fetched, but now that I've done this 20, and I'm like, oh yeah, so it's possible. Yeah, so I can continue. And it feels heavy at some point, but then if your life depends on it, what's one? And back in the days, we used to take 3-4 pills. Some used to even take more. But now you're just taking one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure with the advancements, and which is why people that are positive are now calling for to say, but the jab that you're giving to people that are for prevention, why isn't there a jab for us so that you should be going one jab, 6 months, you know? Because there's also the thing
even
of...
do you call them tablets?
Yes.
So like when you take the tablets, maybe if they could also be like one way you can just take for, maybe you take it and the next time you take it could be maybe a month later or 6 months.
Yes. And I'm sure those things will come up or something like that. But yeah. With advancements, I think anything is possible in the lines of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally on HIV, that's about it.
Great stuff, man. You and I got on the AIDS Healthcare Foundation journey pretty much around the same time to like get introduced to this organization.
Yeah.
And I'm happy today to be able to celebrate a milestone such as them coming on board to even help us start this podcast, Dads Without Dads. And you know what I did was I kept procrastinating. I kept thinking like, I have this concept, I have this idea. I really want to do it. But who's going to help me start?
Yeah.
And Michael was visiting Zambia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he visited Zambia like 2 years ago. And I mentioned it to him.
Yeah.
This was in 2024. I mentioned it to him. I was like, Michael, I've had this idea, but I don't even know how
to start.
Like I don't know how I can start it, and I don't even know if it could be in line with what AHF does.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this is cool. And he really loved it. He said, this is actually an international concept.
Yeah.
Maybe when you studied in Zambia, you should even bring it to the US and come and shoot, because there are a lot of dads without dads even in the US, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool. He's like, we can help you start. Oh, really? Just like that? Yeah, just like that. So that's how I was like, okay, I'll reach out to you when I'm ready to start. So I finally gathered the courage. Dandy Crazy was supposed to be my first guest.
Oh, really?
We needed to start at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
2025. And then just so happened that Dandy passed. And to this day, I still just don't understand. I don't believe it. Like, I really
happened.
wanted him to be my first guest. I had a whole plan of how we were going to start this. We needed to start with a bang because I knew his story, part of his story. Like, he had a story to tell. And then that just happened. And so I took it so personal, such that even when it comes to like his funeral, I was actively involved. You know, I really, really wanted him to be my first guest. That's life. And so it's good that we still interact with AHF to this day, and we're still working together, even like this, pushing for all these good causes. One of the topics that you've been passionate about is stigma and discrimination. Any particular reason?
Like I mentioned, like stigma. So I self-stigmatized. I felt I wasn't worthy. I felt life is done, and I didn't want to participate with or be around people as much as, because I kind of feel like I'm in my own world. And I know, like, a diagnosis will bring you that confusion because there's so many things you're thinking about and trying to weigh in, like, can I still do this? Can I still do that? So, which is why I speak from experience. So, I always tell people, like, you don't have to be like me and tell it to the world. Every person is different, but you have to identify where the obstacles are. Are you self-stigmatizing? Are there people that are... And I remember posting something on my Facebook. Like, I just did a small design of a t-shirt that said, I'm HIV positive, so what? That was like to provoke people to... And I could see, like... Because I wanted to see, like, let's see the levels of stigma. And I'd already started seeing people's posts and all of that, saying all these nonsense things. And I'm like, you see, this is still there. And the only way somebody gets ahead of stigma is accept yourself. It comes with acceptance, which is why I'm so passionate about, because that is the key to even you waking up to take your medication. If you haven't accepted, you're not going to. That's really hard. So it starts with self-acceptance to say, yes, this is the situation I'm in. How you got to that there are several ways, and it's not. And I've heard people tell me to say, no, you, because maybe you were not involved, you were born with it. I'm like, HIV is still HIV. It doesn't discriminate whether you got it from such and such, and not to discount stories that people have, because there are people with horror stories of how they got it. But how do you get ahead of it? Mm-hmm. It starts with acceptance.
Right.
When you accept yourself, even if somebody wants to stigmatize, you're like, yeah, I'm HIV positive and I'm fine, and so what?
Mm. Wow.
Because the moment you just put, so what? Yes, I'm HIV positive, so what? What's the comeback there?
Yeah.
Because if I'm healthy as a person that is not HIV positive, what's the difference? We're still human. We're still all living life. We're still all pursuing our dreams and how we want.
Yeah.
So when people that are HIV positive can come to terms with that and accept, it ties into discrimination, because then now discrimination comes less. Because I don't see somebody that can come to me, unless if it's systematic, unless if it's something. And I think governments and the world over have done so many things to ensure that people that are HIV positive are not discriminated in any way, are not kept from certain jobs, are not, So that part has been done. And I think much of the work is for people living with HIV to take responsibility. It's not an easy thing to accept, to come to terms, but that is the key to starting out and ending stigma. Because imagine a world where every person that is HIV positive, they found it and say, okay, fine, yes, this is and I accept, and I'm going to be on medication, and I'll become undetectable, I can't transmit, and that's a better world for everybody.
Yeah. Powerful.
So, yeah. So really my message is really around that, because I experienced that. I knew how bad it felt to be in that place. And it's not an easy place to come out from.
Yeah.
So you will need support. So it's not easy, but is it possible? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And you have to think about, what do you want for your future? Is it more than just HIV and you crying about it every now and then?
True.
So, yeah.
And, those could just be some of the battles that people face in life.
Yeah.
But despite the battles, and which obviously for you, you've won many of them, right?
Yeah.
But despite even winning battles, there's also moments of victory and triumph, like those happy moments we've spoken about, your production journey, enjoying that, working with the likes of KK, the Slap Ds of this world, and everybody else, and all these many achievements. But one of your biggest achievements was becoming a dad.
Oh, yeah.
How was that experience, and how did it change your life?
So that experience has actually taught me a lot, like self-discovery, because since the day my daughter was born, I've been winging it. Okay. It's not a thing where I was prepared, I'm going to be, no, not too planned. But then I was like, oh, this is the situation. Okay, fine. Let's do this. I will take responsibility, and I'll be the guy that looks after this small person. So the one thing that just hurts about all of this is like the start of my daughter's birth, I was not around. I was sent out of the country to work, and then that's the period that she was born. And then, so like I only got to see my daughter, I think after a week or two after she was born. So I wasn't there for that process. That's like just the one part but then from then on, it's something that I took personal. To this day, I take personally if anybody tries to come between me and my I'm like, yes, she wasn't made by me alone. It's for me and this person that we made this child with. But you try to come, even if it's the mother who tries to come in between, I'm like, that is not going to happen. This is my person. Like, I take it personal. And that leads me to dive into who my father was. So now imagine I'm 4 years old. Like I said in the beginning, the only vivid memory is one of them where he's coming out, he feels better. Next thing, he's gone. One of the few memories I have is being in his car. It was like, I think, a Mazda van. We go somewhere, like it's a workshop. There are guys doing paint jobs and all of that. And then, yeah, like very few things that I can remember about my father. Then I also remember lots of music playing in the house. Like one of the sounds that I could tell even from a young age was the Malemena Boys songs, like those used to play. Like nobody needed to tell me to say, "Oh, your dad used to." That I knew, like remember in the same. But this I've heard. So I had to sit down, like make calls to my siblings, say, "Okay, tell me who this man was," like because I need now a better understanding. So now I've come to learn that. So my dad lost his dad when he was also very young. So my grandfather died when he was young. And here I am. It's like a cycle that has repeated. And so for me, number one, my prayer is I am not going to die anytime soon. And I give that to God to say, please take care of that because this cycle doesn't need to continue.
Yeah.
So my dad lost his dad. So
how old was dad when he lost? Did you find out?
Not sure the age he was, but what I know is that his dad died when he was 36. So he was pretty young.
Oh, his dad was 36?
Yes.
Yeah,
he was very young.
He was young.
So then even him, he died when he was 44. I was 4, about to turn 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, tell me about...
You've already broken the cycle there. See, because your dad died when you were only 4.
Oh, yeah.
Turning 5.
Yes.
You are still alive.
And my daughter is 11 now. So that is one of the things and I'm like, yeah, I need more of these years and I need to be there to see her go through college, to do all of that. But from everybody I spoke to, one thing I gathered is my father was a man that loved peace, was very accommodative, and sometimes to a fault. And I feel like because he lost his dad when he didn't have an example of what a father was like. At some point, he got to be raised by a stepdad who was not so good to him. And I feel like part of that, from the stories I've heard, like who he was in a way to compensate. Like he didn't want people feeling alone. So he was very accommodative to a point where I'm told like our house used to have at least 16, 17 people at a time.
Once, wow.
His relatives, my mom's relatives, like everybody would come home, and that was their home. He was embracing of everybody. So very peaceful and very, very gentle and calm in talking. And he loved his music. That is one thing. So like I get where the music, like there I don't need to question, but he's a guy that, back in the day they had
vinyls?
Records,
record
players, yes. He had one that he used to keep in the bedroom. It's only when these guys like grew a little bit older that it was now left in the living room. But all this time, he would only play when he wants to play and would be excited about getting a new record. Like when he comes home with a new record, he wants to jam it, he wants to play it. And yeah, like aside from that, my dad was very smart. To a point that I think part of his schooling, he put himself through school and then ended up being, he was like an instructor or a lecturer at, it was called what then? Was it Zimco or Zamim or something like that? But
those ones, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was an instructor there. So he did spray painting, panel beating, and that line of work. That was my dad's work. And then after that, after leaving the lecturing and all of that, worked at Dooley Motors. He was a manager for Dooley Motors at some point.
Okay.
So yeah, but
where do you get your complexion, from mom or dad?
From mom.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was
like
very
me.
Tall, huge, yes, and dark and very deep voice and very, very slow, but very calm. Like he just loved, very soft spoken. But here's one incident that I laughed about. We had, of course, I'm a baby. I'm telling people stories that they've gathered from me. So somebody tried to steal from the house. This is a thief caught, and then like family. We had back then extended family. So the way we used to be a lot. They get this guy. He was trying to steal. And then what does my dad do? He comes out with the guys like no. Don't beat him. Take him momopelekezi. So this is a time, yes, we lived in Bwembya Road. So I'm told that he came out and said, do not beat him, do not go to this guy. Gave them the task based of Menya to say, oh, you escort this guy. So that was the type, non-confrontational and all of that. And one of the stories is one of my brothers, like somebody stole his books and all of that, but he knew where this kid stayed. When he told dad after he came back from work, he got him. Went to that person's house. No fight, no. He spoke to these people very well, non-confrontational. And that is how he got his books back, and they went back home. So he's a man that was very embracing, very accommodative, very peaceful, very quiet, loved his music, and he loved his children. And he had his own issues. Of course, all of us have got our weaknesses, have got our good sides and bad sides. But I think when I look at the good stuff and how everybody has talked about him, like it paints a picture of, oh, okay, these are some of the things that I've strived to be like, love my daughter, be there, do what I need to do, you know? And some of the things like the being quiet, like, yes, I'm talkative to people that know me, but those that say, that's a very quiet guy, how do you manage to talk to that person? And I'm like, oh, so that is something that, I inherited that I didn't know, but that is my dad. So for me it was learning about him and celebrating the man without fully understanding who he was, but knowing that each and every person, I'm like, yes, these are his children, but these are not lies. They cannot say this about a person if he wasn't. So it tells me who that man was and how much he loved his family and how much he would do what was necessary to take care of his family, and very
just
embracing.
From the way you're describing him, I can tell that you love him.
Oh yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
it's a thing of, and I've been asked this question a few times, like, oh, were you mad at your parents? And I'm like, well, for one, I didn't know my dad that well. So to even be mad, was I mad at my mom? I think more of confused than mad. Was I upset? Yes, I was upset. I think more about life, about myself, like what is going to happen to me, but not towards them, like not that resentment that you know, because I saw the life that we lived and to be where it was, we're here. Yes, there was love. So it wasn't something that was deliberate. It wasn't, and it's something that, yes, with growing up, I've come to accept and understand. They say, it happened.
Yeah.
It's not something that we can change.
True.
And that doesn't make him less of a man for whatever happened, and I still embrace and love him for who he was and for what he did for his family. So that is my dad. So my journey with my daughter is, I remember when she was little, I'm like, I can't wait for her to start talking. But now I'm at a point where I'm tired. I get back home and it's like I love to be filled in.
She has all the stories to tell you.
Yes, those I love. But it's when it gets to questions. Daddy, this is that is you answer 1, 2, but then you'll be like, my friend, this is a talking I was asking for. But it's cool. Like we are able to communicate. She's able to listen to me. I'm able to give instructions. And one thing I'm proud of right now, I'm at a point where I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm going home. I know my daughter would have cooked kanshima and all of that. She's 11, but yes, we've taught each other that. And
Wow.
So it's one of the joys of being a parent. And just day by day, you learn a new thing every day, having these conversations. And what I try to do is be open and straightforward. Like, there are hard questions that I get to be. There are hard conversations that some of them we haven't had. And I know we need to have them. And she's at that point so it's one of those things I'm preparing myself for, to say, oh, okay, how will this conversation
Because she's now
go?
about to enter the teens.
Yes.
Very soon.
So
Just after next year, right?
Yes.
She'll be 13.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because from other parents, it's like, yes, when they reach that stage, it's like there's a little bit of
detachment.
yes.
Yeah.
So before that happens, I know like there's conversations that I need to have. But it's like a feeling that I can't explain.
Mm-hmm.
It's that thing where I've heard people, like I can easily describe it as it's your heart outside of your body. That's the type of feeling, like, you know, you care so much, you will do whatever it takes to be there for this person and give them what they need, at least to the best of your ability. That is what I try to do. And of course, even our parents, it's not like there's a manual for parenting. We learn through, and not having a dad, it's a whole different territory because there's no example to look at, and I just have to wing it and be like, okay, Bachita does this. This is okay. You read this, and you're like, okay, I think I want to be this type of parent. I want to have conversations. I want to freely express my love for her, because I think that is one of the things that misses for certain daughters, where they are not really free with their. I'm not saying everybody, but I know there's some, and I'm like, I don't want to be that parent that because she's a girl child, she's not free with me and all of that, you know. So for me, I am a parent, but she needs to know that there's a friend part of me that she can access if need be.
Yeah.
Not where I'm a parent, I'm just strict and So it's about creating that safety for her and just knowing to say, okay, this is my guy.
It's crazy how many of my guests on this podcast who've said they used to call their fathers Saddam. Yeah. Like
Because
during their
he's,
childhood, because their fathers were scary.
Yeah.
So when the dads would just walk in, their fathers would just walk in maybe from work or something, or when they just hear that dad is coming, everyone go like, oh, Chisadam Chabwe. And something like that. Yeah. So I could tell, like, from the stories shared by some of our guests here, that a lot of them are trying to be very intentional.
Yeah.
And I was doing a bit of research recently about us millennial parents, and that there's a lot of trauma that we faced back then, whether it's parents beating you up or not having a relationship. There's no level of friendship between the child and the parent. And so everything you have to do is you have to hide. You can't even discuss anything with your parents because they're just your parents. And being a parent back then maybe meant they were disciplinarians, and we can't blame them. It's because maybe that's what they knew because of maybe also where they came from.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it looks like a lot of millennial parents had also lost their parents.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to be very intentional about a lot of things, about how they bond with their kids, because they're also dealing with trauma. We're dealing with trauma from whatever we went through with our parents. And so because of that, it's like we are also trying to make sure that we don't end up bringing more trauma on the lives of our kids.
Yeah.
But in the process of also trying to heal and also trying to be intentional, unfortunately, there's also a bit of overcompensation.
Exactly. And I talked about that. So I kind of feel the accommodativeness that my father had, to an extent. He was a good person. He was a good man, to a point that people took advantage. So, like, yes, I am actually self-aware when it comes to that. Like, my relationship with my daughter, like, I have to self-check, like, am I being too harsh? Am I being too soft? Is this balance? So, like, I question myself every now and then as we are going through. Yes, she'll do something that I don't like. I'm like, how do I respond to this? At what level is this? And what's the best way to handle that? So that, one, I'm not overcompensating because I feel, I didn't have my father and I don't know how it is. So how do I deal with this? And is this the right way? Does this teach my child to be a better person? Or they want to go back and do that nonsense and then expect that I did that this,
Yeah.
So it's a struggle. Like, you have to find a balance and you have to self-check. And it's important to have conversations like this, like where you'll be like, oh, okay, me, my parenting, and just among us men ourselves, I think it's something that we need to do more. Talk about these things and see how best we can be better at parenting, where you don't overcompensate, but then you also don't neglect.
Yeah.
You need to find the balance. It's not an easy thing to do, but I kind of feel like if you commit yourself to say, okay, and then there's no perfection at the end of it all. So for as long as they turn out to be sensible human beings for society and they can take care of themselves and all of that, I think at least you've done a good job if they're not being so you'll never fully 100% get it right. Because some of the things, every person is different. Every child is different. So it's a learning process every day, and you have to find the balance. What works for a child? What is all of that? And and I guess the bigger part that I'm also trying so I recently learned that dad was a Catholic to a point until one of my older brothers was invited by a friend to go to Bread of Life. So when he went there, when he came back, there was a crusade happening, and then he invited everybody in the house, dad, mom, everybody, to say, okay, there's this. And that is how they went for that crusade. And when that crusade happened is when my dad saw a different side of church, a different side of praying, and he gave his life to Christ. And like a day that followed later is when mom also went for the same crusade and did all of that.
Wow.
So it's one of those things like knowing that, like this is the side that we don't normally talk about.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, so I owe it to my daughter too, because yes, I pray. Yes, but I don't feel like I do that enough.
Okay.
With her. Like she
Okay.
needs to see to say, okay.
Yes.
So that has given me perspective to say, oh,
Yes.
actually
When you
my
think
dad used
about
to.
it like that, it's now encouraging you.
Yes, to say, okay, yeah, now my daughter needs to see, okay, yeah, my dad is a praying dad and we'll do all of this, we'll go to church. Like, yes, we'll go to church together from time to time and all of that, but that is not enough. Like, I can show her more. So that has just inspired me to say, okay, my walk with God, as much as it is personal, but it is also important for my child to see that. Because trust me, without God, with everything I've explained that I've been through, everything that has happened, I would have given up a long time ago. But
True.
what wakes me up is knowing that there's always a plan, and God has plans. Not it's Jeremiah 29 verse, I've forgotten.
To
But there's-
prosper you.
Yes, and not to harm you or to destroy.
Yeah.
You know. So for me, that is my go-to. Like each time I'm going through a hardship, I'm like, but I believe in God because I am here because God intended it for me to be here.
Yes.
So whatever I'm going through and all of these things, like they happen for a reason. I liked what you talked about with J-Rocks. There's a part where he mentioned like certain things have to happen the way they happen.
Yes. In order for
They
your
can-
story,
Yes.
for a future story to be.
And for you to be inspired to do certain things need to happen the way they happen. It doesn't mean they're not going to hurt. They will hurt.
yeah.
But if you can live through the hurt, it will open a different door for you to see life, different perspective, and
Yeah.
for you to pursue certain things. So like I said, like me coming out, talking about my status was a personal thing. I had two friends that are close to me, still close to me, that encouraged me to say, yeah, this is the right decision. And I look back and I'm like, yeah, those are people that had good intentions for me because they saw beyond what I even saw, as much as it was personal. Because I've seen a number of people that have changed the lives, that have gotten to treatment, that have found the courage to live their lives because I just told my story. And it's just my story.
Yeah.
I haven't
It's
done
your
anything
story.
special. I've just said,
Yeah.
this is what I've gone through.
Your reality.
And this is how I've lived my life. And it's possible to do that. And people have been encouraged. It's changed. So for me, that is impact. And I'm like, yeah, I think I've done part of my time on earth to say, okay, there's a good deed that I did at some point and it changed somebody's life. So I know there's people that have been uplifted. And I just say, well, thank God that I had the courage to do that. And to be where I am to speak about it like I do. Yeah.
Amazing. Great stuff, man. We take our final break.
Yabonfya amatools webanga amafools wekwata obukopo mu bongo ibonfye iyo bongo bongo Yabonfya.
You're watching Dads Without Dads, and my guest today is Paul Jaslim Banda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's a while since at some point I used to say Paul Slim Band, like the days we were doing Brothers for Life, and
Yeah?
my name would always come as Paul Slim Band.
with the slim in the middle.
Yeah,
Okay.
because then I was just calling myself Slim. Like my name went through a number of changes. You know that thing as you're...
Yeah.
So I just kept it as Slim. I was even a DJ at some point as Slim, you know. I actually did a little bit of a stint at Onza Radio's DJ Slim
Oh, nice.
and all of that. And then went
Where
to
did
clubs.
they just come from?
So now, if you look at the industry, there's not just the Zambian music, but all over the world. There's a Slim Shani. There's
Slim
I was like, so
Jones,
what is that?
Slim Shady.
So I was like, what is going to be unique? And I was like, oh, just say oh, there's Just Blaze. I was like, because I got that, and I'm like, oh, just say Just Slim.
Yeah.
And then because Slim for me is like an acronym for steadily locked in music.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, just steadily locked in music. So I
Beautiful.
was like, yeah, so just say Just Slim. And at some point I started spelling out my name, but it was too complicated. So yeah, for those that know, I would call myself, I still do, for those that get it, and I do it for people that get it, like SLIM. Like I'm spelling out
Yes.
Slim, yeah. So I would call myself SLIM Slim, like SLIM Slim.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is too complicated. That is when the Just came in, and I'm like, okay, just say Just Slim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds they just adds like this simplicity. Like
Yes,
I'm
like
just
it just
Slim.
makes,
Yeah.
it makes it more professional, makes it sound easy to say and all
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. So that
Are
is
you still
how-
making music?
I am, and lessons have been learnt over the years, and I'm hoping that I do better. Still making music. I actually dropped a new single on my birthday on 17th June, so it's not very odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously by the time people are watching this, it'd probably be a month old
Yeah.
or so plus. But yeah, recently dropped a song, and then the last time I dropped music was an EP in 2024. So you can imagine from 2024, then there was silence, 2025, and then I'm back 2026.
2026, yeah.
Yes, and then I had this guy make fun of me, Paul Cruz. So me and Paul Cruz, we get along. I've known him for some time now. So I shared the link to the song, and then I was like, so next single 2027, and I was like, oh my god, that is what inconsistency will do. So now looking back at that point where I was reflecting, like, oh, so if I'd stayed at XYZ, what would have been of me, like with all of these things that have happened in the industry? Yeah, it would have, but that's not, so my story is now, and I'm focusing on now. I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
But the good thing is I've identified where's my problem? Inconsistency.
Yeah.
And the praises that I got, he's one person that is a great mix and mastering engineer I hold in high regard, like one of the best that Zambia has. And for him to say what he said to me, to say, you're one of the best vocalists and one of the best songwriters that Zambia has, but your problem is your inconsistency.
What a consistency.
Yes. So now the goal is to try and be consistent. So I have a new song out, and the goal is to be as consistent.
What's
and
the
it's-
title of the song, and where can people stream it?
So it's called Unisiche, and it's available on all streaming platforms like the Spotify's, the Apple Music, the YouTube's, the Boomplays, iTunes,
Deezer.
everywhere it's available. And obviously, when you just search for Just Slim on these platforms, it will lead you to the inconsistencies. But
Yeah.
there's lots of great music from the inconsistencies. And yeah, so the lesson learned is, I need to be more consistent, and I want to take it personally, the way I'm taking these other things personally. I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready now.
Yeah.
Like I had said in the initial opening, where I got this overwhelmed. But then after experiencing all these things, it's like I'm ready for what is next when it comes to music. Because I know I have the potential to do that. So that's the one thing I'm trying to pursue intentionally, because I feel it's time. And to see that I started in 2006, like of course as an amateur then, I would say professionally was 2008.
Yeah.
So
You've been
technically,
around.
despite the ons and offs, I would in 2028 I would be saying,
20
it's been
years
20 years
in the game.
you know. And then people would obviously say, hey, am I on 20 years? And I'm like, yeah, music is a hard thing. And you know, like I have favorite artists where I'll give examples like maybe Rock City, Chidi Bang, and these are people that boom, 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 boom.
Inconsistent, but they have like these big bangs, like Rock City. You know, they didn't change their name to R City now.
Yeah. Our City now.
I think it's part of the reason could be their issues with
So I read about
convict
it.
music, right?
No. There was some place I think that is called that, which is why there was those marketing issues. They wanted to be unique, but there is, I think, a place called Rock City or something like that.
No.
So they had to remove, instead of saying Rock City, it had to become
Okay. There's
RCT.
a rumor out there that because they were signed under convict music, that Akon couldn't allow them to use
use,
that name because it was like under, I don't know.
It could be. Maybe, yeah,
So
it could
I
be
will
that.
find out. We'll research.
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't know. What do
research.
you guys know?
Yeah, and actually they had even changed their name at some point to Planet, is it Planet?
Maybe
Planet
City?
4?
Oh.
Planet,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
like a whole different name. They released 2 mixtapes, and that is how deep I follow. So
Okay.
I understand, like, you know, where you like somebody, you like their music, they give you something nice, then they go quiet. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's the guy. And I used to get mad at that. I'm like, but what is going on? But now that I've lived the life where I have been the one that is there, and I'm like,
Yes.
and then sometimes it's not intentional that you want to be inconsistent.
Uh-huh.
Life happens and you just can't, you're not as creative, you can't make the music.
Yeah.
Some music has to come from living life from, and sometimes you are just dry.
Yeah.
You can't feel the music anymore. And
Yeah, man.
But yeah.
But now you can feel the music. So
Now I
can
can
you give
feel
us
the
a
music.
snippet of your new song? What's the title?
Onisiyeche. Okay.
Onisiyeche.
So yeah. The pre-hook.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Oh no, that is good. I actually like that.
Because I know that the people that watch this podcast are very curious. So already
Oh,
they're
yeah.
searching for you right now.
Oh, please let
Yeah,
them.
just
Guys, I'm ready to blow after 18 years.
Yeah, man.
You know? So yeah. So it goes a little bit like you say that I'm yours, but I don't believe ya. I think you lie. Girl, don't lead me on. One moment you're hot, next moment you're cold. I think you lie. Girl, you're deceiving. So better only see it. Then you answer only see it. So better only see it. My heart can't take it anymore. So better only see it. So yeah. It's an
Nice.
Afrobeat, it's an up-tempo type of joint. But yeah.
Love it, man. Love it. I can't
Thanks,
wait
man.
to listen to this after this recording.
Please do.
Yeah,
Please
man.
do. And to everybody watching, please go listen to that song. I need those. These days it's about streaming. Back in the days I would say, go buy my CD. Please go stream it
On your favorite
CHA,
streaming
just
platform.
on your favorite streaming platform, and I'll be the most grateful person. But yeah, and I hope that somebody has been inspired. Like I've told this story, like especially about my HIV journey so many times, but there's always a new person, and
Right.
I'm hoping that now that I've understood the impact, I'm hoping that there's somebody out there that
Amazing.
yeah.
And I pray that in the comment section, you'll meet someone who will encourage you about your music for you to stay consistent. Because
Oh, yeah.
we are rooting for you and we want to see you being
Wow.
very active and whatnot. Mag44 told me that procrastination is a demon.
It can be, no lie. It
Yeah,
can
don't
be because
procrastinate. So whenever you get the
whenever you
opportunity,
feel,
just
go
do it.
ahead and do it.
Yeah, I procrastinated on Dads Without Dads for like 2 years. But you know, I said, no. Before someone steals this idea,
Exactly.
let me do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look where you are. And
Yeah,
you found the
man.
people to come and work with you. So
Yeah.
it's about going for it. You'll never be fully ready if you keep waiting to say, until,
Yeah.
you might not have the money to push like, here I am.
Yeah.
No money to push the song, but I'm like, let me put it out.
Yes.
It's going to happen however it's supposed to happen, but be consistent about it.
True, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling that to yourself. This has been therapeutic
Grateful
for
for
me,
that.
Paul. Thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate the time, and thank you for sharing your story. And I know that a lot of people out there are going to be encouraged by this. And what I love about these conversations is that it's not a once-off. So now that people have seen it, it
Yeah.
stays on the channel and people can watch it
Watch
again
it
and
over
again.
and over,
And they
yes.
can even share it with other people in order to encourage them. That's what's been happening.
Yeah.
A lot of people are finding healing and
Yeah.
encouragement through this platform, and we're grateful for that. So thanks to you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a pleasure. And I think the most exciting thing was being able to talk about my dad and the light that because like I've never fully tried to process, but I'm glad that this has given me the to
Yeah.
actually have conversations that I should have had a long time ago to find out like, okay, tell me about this man, who was he, because I don't know that. But yeah, being able to sit here and tell that story, that's a great thing for me. At least that's something that I feel off my chest and feel proud about, to say, okay, yeah, wherever he is, he knows that, yeah, there's
Yeah.
There's Sunny that is proud of
Yes.
who he was and how he took care of his family and how
Amazing.
his,
I love how you
children
love
loved
him even in his death. I love how you love him even through the stories that have been shared by other people who got to experience him. So
Yeah.
big ups to you and big ups to him and big ups to your late mom as well.
Yeah.
May their souls rest in peace,
rest in peace.
and may you continue being a great dad. May you continue raising your 11-year-old daughter.
Oh, yeah,
And
sure.
indeed, she should also come and say she was proud that
My
you
dad
know,
did
yes,
ABCD. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Big shout out to the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Thanks for supporting the Dads Without Dads podcast. Our director has been Big Man X, and our DOP has been Prince Gift. On sound, we have Mr. Christopher Musumali, and we're grateful to the rest of the team. This production is managed by the Naveen Agency, and we're grateful to our production partners, Mwana Studios and Terrence Pictures. We're out.
Yabonfya amatools webanga amafools wekwata obukopo mu bongo ibonfye iyo bongo bongo yabonfya amatools webanga amafools wekwata obukopo mu bongo bonfye iyo bongo bongo.
It's gonna be a very, 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 very good day. A good day. Kabiri sansa shisa uluchelo. Uyu Yesu. Abomba na matuzi nkwete. Kwati moze ninkonto. Chikulundina yasu nilicheche.
Do your best, I'll do the rest. Just show me what you work with.